Namaskaram. So today we are having a very special guest in our podcast series. So who is this special guest? So this is Devi Lakshmikutty, activist in agriculture and safe food issues. She is also a co-founder of BioBasics, from whom we source our organic produce, food, that is groceries, veggies and fruits. And above all, she is the conscience keeper of BioBasics as a business. So let's meet Devi Lakshmikutty.
Namaskaram.
And by the way, we are sitting in Devi and Ramesh's farm, which is in the Tamil Nadu-Kerala border, closer to Pollachi. And as you can see, they're converting this farm into kind of a mini forest. So, Devi, what prompted you, or how did you decide to get into working into farmer and agriculture related issues?
Thank you, Sujata. It's a pleasure to have you all here on the land, and it's nice weather and all bright. So ironically, or maybe in a right way, I came into farming through food.
Okay.
And while we were living in the US, when I moved from India and went to US supermarkets, and I saw this plentifulness of food on one hand, and obesity on the other hand. This was early 2000s. I said there is something wrong with the food system here. And I started reading about it, watching documentaries, talking to people. And what I learned was horrifying. And I realized that on one hand, our food is getting corrupted. On the other hand, the farmers are not able to sustain farming as a livelihood. And that is how I got into farming. I said, okay, this is what I want to work with. So that is how I got into farming.
Now, I was just thinking, when you said that obesity was on the rise, especially in Western countries, and now it is seeping into India also, what comes to my mind is refined foods and more of one kind of food, one kind of grain. So that brings me to this point of, you're also largely involved in biodiversity related issues. And biodiversity, there are many aspects to biodiversity, and Devi is more or less working on agro biodiversity. So can you elaborate on these aspects?
So if you look at it, the food, obesity, farming connection, what I felt was the more processed your food is, be it processed, be it genetically modified, be it laden with pesticides, the more harmful it is for us as human beings, for our health and for the land. Because we are actually corrupting the land, we are destroying the basis of agriculture. So the interlinked thing that I found is, on one hand, we were using chemicals, contaminating the land and water. Then we wanted to do monocrops to make agriculture a kind of, a production system. So long ago, I think the British writer Jules Pretty said, there is a reason why it is called agriculture, which we have converted into agribusiness now. And that transition has kind of destroyed the basis of farming, destroyed the basis of food. So going back to, or can't even say going back, I think we should see it as going forward. Why go back? Going forward, we should be looking at a system which is, good for us, good for the planet, good for the soil and our food system. And that has to be rooted in agro biodiversity, having as much as biodiversity on the land and similar biodiversity on our plates, which would help deal with climate change, which would help with dealing with the issues today we have. We say we have micronutrient deficiency, we have so many health issues, and I think it's all interlinked. It's completely interlinked, and we are not seeing the connection.
Correct.
We are dealing with it. We are trying to, say that, oh, you supplement this nutrients, you supplement this mineral on one hand. On the other hand, we are saying, okay, put this on your soil, add this chemical, add this. Whereas we are not seeing that these are interconnected, and what will naturally come will give us what we need for our bodies.
So I also, observed that since yesterday we are on the farm, And we can see such a stark difference between this patch of land and the neighboring land. There's so many bird calls since yesterday and today morning. We were woken up by bird calls, and we also saw small grey hornbills in the farm, which was so exciting to see a bird like hornbill. So now when it comes to even food, being a consumer of biobasics, I have started in the last 10 years, I have started eating so many different varieties of rice, millets and other grains. And compared to 10 years before, which was a limited number of rice varieties that we used to eat. So that is one great aspect of our food. So biodiversity also has a big impact on agriculture and farmers. So can you elaborate on this aspect?
Farming, I think, has become a very complex and very difficult profession today, because what is rewarded is commodity farming, which is what has made farmers, I mean, we like to kind of blame farmers for what has gone wrong, and I think they are the last people to be blamed, because we have forced them into an unsustainable system where they have to do, monocropping of large areas under a single crop using a lot of chemicals. The whole system is geared towards doing that. So they originally, if you look at it, most farms in India, generally we have small farms, were naturally agrobiodiverse. We had 3 seasons of cropping, many of the areas which have rains, or at least 2 seasons. We did a different series of crops in each season. They grew some for their home, some for trading. We look at a simple case. We had grain followed by pulses. Grain in the main rain season followed by pulses. Today, if you look at it, because of the difficulty or the cost of labor, and because pulses are not procured in small quantity, many major areas are grain after grain. So there, the nitrogen fixing pulses have disappeared from the farms, and we have become one of the biggest importers of pulses. So the farmers have been, kind of pulled out of the system. And here in this village, when we came here 10 years back, they used to still do urad and moong and groundnuts, which they don't do anymore. They are not able to sustain it, because small farming, whatever the cost involved, change in climate, wild animal problems, and the market not being conducive enough, they are moving out. They are moving out to non-food crops, which is a serious threat. And for farmers to go for a more biodiverse or agro-biodiverse system, the rewards have to be commensurate. And it depends on how we are going to buy it from them, how much we are going to pay, how much we are going to reward them for doing this. Otherwise, we cannot expect the farmers to take on, because it is very, very challenging to do small areas, multiple crops, with the current cost of labor, with what the whole market scenario is.
So basically, the farmers need to have some kind of an encouragement to grow these multi-diverse grains and crops. So from there we come to the point where unless consumers would want to consume these biodiverse grains, farmers will not produce it. So there has to be a demand from the consumers for the farmers to keep producing. So can you elaborate on that aspect?
There are 2 levels to it. See what happens even in the conventional market. I mean, let's look at chemical agriculture. We go for the cheapest oils. So the oil seeds produced in India are too expensive, so then we import the oil, or we add palm oil. Suppose we were having our own oil, even it's a chemical thing. People will grow more oil seeds. Our oil seed production has gone down. Pulses we import, the pulses production has gone down. If we were willing to pay a little more for the pulses which are grown in India, you can consume it the same year. They are not kept in ship holds for a long time. They are not, in warehouses sprayed with chemicals. Currently, that's all that we are consuming. Instead, if we were willing to pay a little more for our food, and if the farmers know that they can sell these things, they would grow it. In organic particularly, I mean, this is particularly so because the organic agriculture, where your inputs are natural, you need these rotations.
Correct.
You have to, the organic paddy farmer needs to do pulses, after the paddy to get nitrogen fixed in the soil the natural way. Otherwise, what he is supposed to do is he is supposed to do sunhem and dhaincha to get the nitrogen in the soil. But suppose we were willing to procure, I mean, so many pulses. I mean, we limited ourselves to just tur and moong. Now you have the foxgram, what we call naripayar in Tamil. We have the masoor. We have the horse gram. All those things, if we were willing to take from small farms, organically grown, definitely they would grow it.
Okay. So that brings me to an angle of, people as consumers, they don't think twice before, spending money on expensive branded clothes or jewelry. But when it comes to food, they want cheap food. So what has been your role here in convincing the farmer to grow these grains, and also from the consumer awareness point of view?
You said about biodiversity from the consumer side, how we can support it. See, what has happened is we have mistaken variety for diversity now. So suppose you look at it, no, we have biscuits of different kind. It's all maida in different forms. So we are not eating diversity. We are consuming variety in the form of, and then we think we are eating the most varied diet that humankind has ever seen. In fact, it's on the contrary, we are eating the least amount of diversity than we have ever eaten. Whereas we think we have access to chocolates from Switzerland, or avocados from somewhere else, or kiwis from New Zealand or whatever. But we are eating, if you look at it, I mean, earlier we ate much more diversity. So we have narrowed our diet, which is causing us problems. Definitely the health issues, because we are trying to reduce our food into components like, okay, how much carbs, how much protein, but we don't know the interactions of these foods. We don't know what each food actually gives us. We can only measure it for what we know. So there are so many components in the food which we are not aware of, and by reducing it, we are giving up on so many things. So it is integral. I mean, it is very, very imperative for each of us to make our plates as diverse as possible. And that doesn't mean that we have to import things from here or there. We start looking around, be it edible greens, you have uncultivated greens that we've all been exposed to, or the different kirays. I mean, in this land, when we were cultivating, early in the morning, the farmer ladies will come here and pluck some kirays. And I said what it was. They said they called it panna kirai. Panna means waste. But they would take it for poriyal. And I said, okay, what is it? Why don't you have it on your land? Oh, because we use chemicals. There is no kirai on our land. And we were only a patch which was not chemically cultivated, and the kirais were there. Similarly, now today, if you have the rice project we are working on, the wheat project we are working on, there's so much of diversity farmers are cultivating, and there's so much more they can cultivate, and this cultivation will happen only if consumption of those foods happen. I love to say this everywhere. I think I have coined it, consume to conserve. I say that I will not advocate consumption, even though all of us are consumers at a certain level, and we struggle to keep our consumption under control. But when it comes to food and diversity, it's consume to conserve. So the more diverse food we consume, the more diversity we will see in our fields. I mean, today, because consumers have become more powerful than farmers, the diversities, conservation has to start from the consumer side demanding it. The farmer doesn't have the power to say that I'm growing this, you have to eat this. But we can demand it, which will lead to this virtuous cycle where the farmer will grow it.
That's really interesting. When it comes to the common urban family, they usually use rice, a maximum of 2 or 3 varieties, rice for daily use, and usually basmati for that occasional pulao or biryani. But there's so much to rice diversity beyond this. So, Devi, can you elaborate on this?
Of course. This is a topic I love elaborating on. I mean, I came into the Seva Rice campaign quite coincidentally, thanks to Usha, who led the campaign, and we worked on. And what I said about, how consumption has to begin with the consumer and then it goes to the farmer, we learned it in the campaign. Because we started with conserving seeds. We got farmers who had some seeds, which they were growing for their own use. We convinced them that they have to grow it out again. The first 3-4 years went in the excitement of finding new seeds, the farmer growing it out. After 4 years, then they said, okay, what do we do with all the paddy? And then we realized that people had stopped consuming these rices, and why would the farmers grow it again? And that's when began this whole quest to again reacquaint people with all these rices. So, we have such a range. I mean, when you come look at the diversity from colors, right, from black, brown, white, red being my favorite. We have all those colors. We have, centered rices. You said about basmati. I keep saying it's beyond basmati. We have to look beyond basmati because every state, rice growing state in India has at least 2 to 3 fragrant varieties which are amazing. Be it the Java Phul, Neem Phul of Chhattisgarh, or Govindabhog, Tulai Panji of Bengal, the Ambe Mohar Indrayani of Maharashtra, the Gandhakashale, Jeeragashale, which grows in the Western Ghats, Kerala and Karnataka, our own Jeeraga Samba in Tamil Nadu, Ilipaipu Samba, which is again centered. So it just goes on. I mean,
such sweet names.
Yeah, there's also, each of them has a history also. Ambe Mohar it's like a mango.
Mango.
Scent. Or, Tulai Panji, they say there are two things. One, they say it's like cotton. Tulai, the white cotton, the soft, the rice is so soft. Govindabhog is, people, the saints of the, Kolkata, they used to make this rice as the payesh offering for Govinda, their deity. So every rice has a story, every rice has a history. And also what is peculiar is we advocate growing it in their own regions. I would not tell one of my Kerala farmers that you start growing Govindabhog because there is a terroir. In Bengal, you grow it in that soil where it belongs and then eat it.
Yes.
And that that diversity on the field translates into, your Govindabhog will make, a nice khichdi for you or payesh for you. Your Karupakauni of Tamil Nadu will make another payesh. Mull and Karma in Kerala, which is centered rice, which is sticky, is amazing for risotto. I mean, we go for this Italian arborio rice and we have Mull and Karma, which can make a risotto. Gandhakashale is so amazing and small grained. And, I keep saying, we interestingly get queries, what kind of red rice can I feed our child? I said, just start with fragrant rices. Let the child learn to love rice. I mean, these are people who themselves don't eat red rice and they want to feed because we have to start with the fragrant rice, which makes the child, wean away from these processed foods. So that the child, he or she sees how beautiful it is. And then if you looking at health, look at the range of red rices that Kerala and Tamil Nadu have. Kati Anam, from Karunguruvai, you have Tondi, which is from Wayanad, you have Kurva, which is in Thrissur, we have, Chitteni, Chetadi. It's a list. So
just sorry to interrupt that. I just felt that in today's urban scenario, people have forgotten to enjoy the taste and flavor of rice in the pursuit of mostly it's a hurried lunch, or you're just watching TV, or you're scrolling on the phone while eating your food, and we've just we don't pay attention to the flavor, the texture, the aroma of the rice. So next time you sit with your rice, you can just sit and be with the rice that you eat.
Yeah, in fact, the sad part is we are demonizing rices. We have, denatured rice. We mill it to extreme levels. We use only one kind of rice. We grow it with chemicals. And then we say it's the enemy to our health. Whereas if you look at it, it feeds 50% of the global population. It is the only non-allergenic grain in the world. Nobody is allergic to rice. And if, we have the choice of processing it with bran, making it nutritious, making it healthy. It's a food suitable for, as a first weaning food for the child, to the food that the really aged can eat. Every age. There are rices for lactating and pregnant women.
Very interesting.
There are rices for, so people say, I have diabetes, how can I eat rice? There are low GI rices, which have GI below 55. So, you name it, the choice is there. And we have to make an effort. And today, so many more farmers, so many more people are working on it. We have to look around and I keep saying, it's like, you explore cuisines. People try Vietnamese, people try Japanese cuisine. Look to our diversity. Think of it as a cuisine. Don't think of it as a painful, healthy thing. Oh, I have to eat red rice as a torturous act. think of your red rice as the next great thing that you're going to enjoy.
So that brings me to the next point, where recently Biobasics had organized the Nandri Awards and to felicitate organic farmers. So I remember organic farmer couple Linish who was given the Seed Saver Award. So Devi has worked majorly with the seed saving aspects. Can you elaborate on that part of the work?
I mentioned earlier about my work with Saver Rice campaign, which was led by Usha. And at that time, we got into the conservation work of paddy varieties. Even after the campaign has ended, the conservation work has continued thanks to passionate farmers. Be it in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Bengal, Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, now it's starting in Rajasthan, Maharashtra. So these farmers are growing hundreds of varieties. So I have been kind of involved raising funds for them because seed diversity is very expensive work. So the farmer doesn't have enough cash income, and these are all organic farmers. The seed diversity is maintained organically. To explain it very, very succinctly why it has to be done and why it should not be done in labs by the universities. This is in situ, that is, it is done in the field, in the natural conditions. So if your seeds are grown out every year, then they adapt to the climate, they adapt to whatever is happening. But if you keep them as germplasm in a frozen condition, then they can be taken out and used only as germplasm, not as seeds. They cease to become viable seeds. So the only way to keep viable seeds is to grow them out year after year. And the seed saver farmers do that, ranging from 10 seeds that a farmer would grow to, there are people who grow up to 600, maximum is 1,000 somebody is growing. I mean, Dr. Dev, I think, keeps more than 1,000 varieties. So I've been involved with young seed saver farmers, helping them, with some funding or creating visibility for their work, because it is so critical. I mean, these are actually the guardians of our heritage, and we have to keep them doing it because we are not competent enough to do it.
Correct.
We are not capable of it. So that the least we can do is support them, because it requires tremendous skills.
It's like use it or lose it.
Exactly. Exactly.
If any of you would like to financially contribute towards the seed conservation work, then you could email us at this address and we will get you connected with Devi Lakshmikutty.
Thank you, Sujata. That is, we hope that many people will come forward, because this is something, the seed work is for the greater common good. It is for us, but I call this work as giving to the future. And the more number of people are involved, the more invested people are, the better it is for our future generations.
True.
Because it is not the responsibility of isolated farmers here and there or people who support them. It has to become more broad-based, and it will also lead to us, I think, exploring these. The moment we get connected to the seeds, the food will also become part of our life. I feel it's all interconnected.
And also, I find that there are many consumers who want to contribute financially for causes like this, and this is your opportunity. How is organic food consumption linked to biodiversity?
Organic food is many times seen as, replacing your chemical food with the organic version of it. No other changes. Okay, I was eating chemical sona masuri, I will have organic sona masuri. But in the long term, it doesn't work. But that whole monocrop system of, large commodity-based agriculture on which the chemical agriculture is based doesn't work for organic agriculture. It has to be more seasonal, it has to be more local. So you would have more crops, you would have gaps, you will not get something the whole year round, you will only get it in season. One of the major things is some of the vegetables. I mean, we are constantly asked, why don't we have it the whole year round? Broccoli. Broccoli, we get good broccoli only during the winter. And similarly for rices also. We have one major rice cropping season, and certain rices cannot last till the whole cycle is over, because in organic it starts getting infested. So then we run out of the rice, and then we have to wait for the next harvest, and that is a pleasure. So we have to realize that when we go truly organic, we have to become less controlling about our food. We have to become more accepting that there is a natural growing cycle, a natural eating cycle, and go with the flow. Say that, okay, this is what is available, let's do it. So that is the point at which we go from farm to table. Here, even with organic, our tendency is to go from the table to the farm. So we make a menu and then order. No, you see what is available with your organic provider and then make your menu. None of us are running restaurants. We are only cooking for our family. We don't have to. We just see what is there. Okay, this week this is what is in plenty. Then let's make it.
I can experience that because when I, place an order for biobasics, veggies and fruits, every week the list that they send out to us changes. So I cannot be demanding a particular vegetable every week, and that's very evident in the way we eat our food.
No, that natural growing cycle coincides with our what is required for our body depending on the season. Certain things which are available. I mean, all of us have accepted that mangoes are available only in summer. Why not for other crops and other foods? That acceptance that it is not available. One of the things that I learned after coming into organic farming is Pirkanga, which is a favorite, the rich gourd of Tamil Nadu. You get two kinds. You get the hybrid kind, which you got very worried about once. You remember the ultra green one, which can grow the year round. And then you have the native variety, which looks dry. Even when harvested fresh, it has that brownish look. That comes only in a particular season. After that, it doesn't fruit. So similarly for so many crops, we find it. So it's a more accepting kind of thing, more flexible, and treating food as I think what we have made the mistake is we think it's a factory output. We don't think it is a produce of nature, and nature has seasons. Nature has different phases. And your food will change according to what nature does. So we have to, that is key. So organic goes with biodiversity very, very inextricably, it is inextricably linked. There is no escaping it. And if somebody is able to provide us this, they're doing it in greenhouses and we don't know where, the slip happens. So again, I would say I won't blame the grower, I blame the consumer. Because if you indicate that you will pay a price to get something out of season, there will be somebody to grow it because it's a matter of livelihood for someone. So excessive, like if any of our farmers, if they say that I don't have this, even if they had given it to me, like you said, from our list, they would have told me that I will have it next week. I would have put it in the list and then they will say it didn't work out. I won't compel them because I don't want them to be tempted to compromise on the growing or procuring. So we have to be very, very cognizant of accepting these no's. We have become very spoiled.
Now that brings me to, if you remember, when I had introduced Devi, I had said she is the conscience keeper of biobasics. Now I'd just like to give you an example. Now biobasics has become a very well-known name, and it's like people trust biobasics, that if I want something genuinely organic, biobasics is the place. Online, their groceries are available pan-India. So in this context, when I say she's a conscience keeper, many farmers approach Devi to, suddenly she'll get a call and we have this many kilos of turmeric powder, or we have this particular vegetable, can you just take it from us and sell it for us? So that's where the true, I mean, what she, it's not that somebody just says that, I'm an organic farmer, you buy it from me. It doesn't end there. That's a whole process which I want Devi to elaborate, as to she really takes care, and it involves a lot, even a farm visit and how passionate the farmer is, and that's where the word conscience keeper comes into the picture.
Procurement or getting from farmers, the first level of sourcing for biobasics, of course, comes from all of our friends network, and the friends, because of my work with sustainable agriculture over last, now it's about 20 years, when I'm growing old. So there's a large network of organic farmers pan-India that I'm connected with. But like you said, now there are newer farmers who have started approaching us saying that it is there. So somebody says, I have a bunch of onions. I said, okay, but how do I know which field did grow it in? How did you grow it? So you have to come to me before season. Or it has to come to me through one of our existing farmers saying that, look, I know this person. And then we just kind of visit the farm. Recently there was a Mysore farm, and we had my friend Nisha went there to check the farm. I said, look, we cannot think of sourcing it, and they are certified, they have a history of so many years of organic cultivation. Even distant parts of the country. I was in Bengal. I went right up to North Bengal. There was part of my seed conservation work which I am involved in as part of a funding agency. Plus, couple of farmers I also get rices, heritage rices of Bengal from. So travel quite a bit to find these farmers and constantly in touch with them. I check out what they're growing when the season begins, whether what their yield is like, and then I tell them, I'm towards the middle of the year, are you running out of stuff? If you're running out, okay, we'll do without it. I mean, I think the key to organicity is being able to say no and say that we'll do without it. The whole attitude today we have that anything is possible. If you have the money, you can get anything. I think that goes against the grain of organicity, because then you're tempting people. So don't tempt, keep hand-holding them, tell them that, you're there. And also, we do sample testing, we double-check different sources what happens. And people know that I would visit farms, or if any of my friends are going that side, any of our biobasic friends are going, we do the visiting. I think Ramesh had one time discussed the 5 steps we take. We encourage all of the farmers to go for certification. I mean, people say, how do you know? I mean, it's certification is, if we are not certified, we are blamed for it. If you're certified, people say, oh, that's only a piece of paper. So there's no winning that battle, but we have to do every step. But beyond it all, I think it is a very warm, two-way relationship with farmers that ensures, because your consistent support ensures that the farmer is never going to shortchange you. He or she knows that you are there for them. And we have never changed farmers because we have found a cheaper new farmer.
True.
So they know that we will sustain it. We will sustain, we will support. That is integral. And to be able to source from them.
And I think our viewers should know that the farmers, those who supply to biobasics, they are really passionate about it. They are passionate. They have that diligence towards towards growing safe food for the consumer, as well as which is safe for the environment. So that commitment and passion is there from the farmer's perspective.
Yeah. Many of these farmers have come from the larger organic farming network of India. So many of them have got into this space much before organic became a business. So they've got into it with a deeper understanding of it. Now many young people are coming, but not enough. I think that the responsibility lies with us, saying that, okay, I will eat organic. I will take a little bit of inconvenience to eat organic. If we don't do that, we will not attract enough young people to do it, and our children might find it difficult to find organic food, because in the recent times what we've been finding is there are people who want to document organic farming and organic food. Food plates are all over social media. So, and then there are researchers who come to us saying that, oh, what about this rice, what about that rice? And I've been telling some researchers, maybe this sounds a little brutal, I said that 10 years from now we will have images, we will have videos, we will have documents, we will have case studies, but we will not have farms, farmers, seed or organic food. We have to put our money where our mouth is. Eating organic is a favor we do ourselves. It's a favor we do to the ecosystem, and it's the biggest favor we can do for our children.
I just want to reiterate to my viewers that eating organic is extremely important. We underestimate the price that we pay for chemical food. I mean, today cancer cases are on the rise, and it's not that you eat chemical food today and tomorrow you're diagnosed with cancer. It is not. It goes into decades of eating. And it's not that the typical urban consumer cannot afford it. As I already said, we don't mind spending on gold and branded clothes or fine dine restaurant. But food, that means you're not valuing your own health. You're not valuing your own children's health. And the rise of autism cases or ADH, attention deficit. People are even reporting insomnia issues, sleeplessness, stress levels have gone up. So you're not able to attribute it, you're not able to point it that these are the results of pesticides, but these are one of the biggest reasons of so many health issues. So it is pertinent and extremely important for all of you to, switch to organic food. It's okay if you buy a few pairs of clothes, less in a year, or if you buy less gold, is absolutely okay. You should learn to value your health. And for those who are interested in switching to organic food and those who would like to have a trustworthy source of organic food, especially groceries, because you're not based in Coimbatore, you could refer to the link given in the description box below to order your groceries from BioBasics, and you can be sure about the quality and the trustworthiness that it is organic. So the link is given and it's never late to change. And by using the link given in the description box, you will get a discount on your first order. We've spoken enough about rices. Now, of course, chapati or, wheat chapati is eaten all throughout the country in South India and North India. And personally for me, when I bought atta, it was just atta, wheat flour. I never thought of that there could be varieties in wheat atta or simple atta. So, Devi, can you elaborate on this?
I should start with what happened to us when we introduced wheat diversity at home. It was when we were in Netherlands and I brought an emmer loaf home. Emmer is kapli.
Kapli wheat.
And I brought a loaf home from an organic farmer's market from where we shop. And Ramesh, who was sitting down for dinner, pressed the loaf and found it hard. And so I was trying to tell him, this wheat existed from the time of the Egyptian pharaohs. He said, well, did you bring it from one of the tombs? He was like very skeptical. Today, of course, he happily eats kapli rotis. So wheat is something I got into. I mean, we were aware of it when we were living in Europe, and then I had kind of given it up, and then again realized farmer friends who are doing diversity, and then found, and we came up to 10 varieties. So we have, in India itself, we have ancient wheats. And emmer or kapli is the precursor to the bread wheat. It's not even a bread wheat. And you have even bansi, which is a durum wheat, a pasta wheat. We have katia, which is a durum wheat. These are generally pasta wheats. And then we have pisi, we have chandausi, we have paigambari, which is an ancient wheat which can trace its, antiquity to the Harappan civilization.
Wow.
So, we came to a level of 10 wheats. Again, wheat is even more difficult than rice to convince people, because people see wheat only in the form of, like you said, atta. The rice, at least you see the diverse grains. Wheat, where you don't see the grains, because most of us buy it as flour.
Correct.
I'm actually thinking of sending a little bit of wheat grains in the flour so that people can see the grains, chew it, and experience it. The same with millets. Now, when we say millets, we just name the millet. The Ascites have 10 different millets, and even within that, there's a farmer friend who does 10, 15 kinds of ragi. The one particular ragi that we get for our sprouted ragi flour, it is from Harur. It's called Karun ragi, they call it. It's a native variety. They don't know the name. It's just called Karun ragi. It's dark maroon. The sprouted ragi flour of that is unmatched. Whatever other ragi flours I've tried, it has not.
Ragi is finger millet or nachni in Marathi.
So it doesn't match. So be it tur dal, be it any of the pulses, grains, millet, wheat, there is diversity. And when we look for it, when we ask for it, it will come. But let's remember that it's not a fad. So just don't take it once and say, oh, we've clicked a picture, we have put the the emmer wheat bread out there, and then we have forgotten. No, adopt it. I keep saying diversity is not a fad. Diversity has to be brought home. It's to be adopted and sustained. Only then the farmer can grow it, because the farmer has a 1-year cycle or a multi-year cycle. Because if a crop has to become sustainable for him, he has to have demand. He or she has to have demand year after year.
By the way, Biobasics within Coimbatore, they also supply organic sourdough bread. It's just amazing. So if you are viewing from Coimbatore, you should try, you should try Biobasic sourdough bread made out of whole wheat flour.
So it's in our hands. Like I said, the power is with the consumers now. But while demanding things, let us be generous, let us be gracious, let us be kind. And remember that these farmers are our fellow, travelers in this journey. Let us not become, like we demand a factory-made produce. Let us be kind of understanding about the travails, the issues that they face. And if we do not handhold them, if we do not partner with them, it's a losing battle for all of us. We have to travel this path together.
So to conclude, Devi, I would just want to know, how could our viewers contribute towards these issues? What is their role?
I think 2 or 3 things. One, being aware in a very genuine way, not in a fleeting manner where we all, scroll through social media and then forget it. In a genuine, engaged way, try to understand it. Second, like I said, consume to conserve. So going organic, if you can make the effort, including all the difficulties of finding and adapting a new rice, if a whole family goes organic, then you will understand how much effort it takes to grow it. Because to eat it, to change our eating habits, if we have to take effort, so you can imagine how much it takes for growing. Third, you can directly, in addition, you can directly support, like you mentioned earlier, they can support initiatives, seed initiatives.
Financial support.
Direct financial support. But sustain this
consumption.
Pay the right price for food.
Yes.
That is the key. I mean, that is what will leave our children with healthy food.
Actually, demanding cheap food is criminal. It's really criminal to demand cheap food for the effort that the organic farmer takes to grow that safe food. We better pay the price that he or she deserves.
And even with chemical food, I would say, I mean, the cheap food is killing the chemical farmers also. It's not like it's sustainable for them. The food at the current price is not sustainable for any kind of farmer. So we are killing farming in itself. There are farmers who tell me 10 years from now, you will not have farmers, chemical or organic. Because we are killing it as a profession. I was pointing out yesterday in the village, there is a depopulation of this village. There is not a single new shop which has come up, nothing. Because we came here 10 years back, there are less people in the village today than there were. Whereas we live in Coimbatore, I think the population has increased 5 times possibly.
So none of the farmers' children are willing to take up this profession, and that is of concern.
And I would say the way things are, they shouldn't. Why should they? Unfortunately.
Slightly disappointing to know that, farmers' children, especially organic farmers' children, do not want to take up farming, which is the traditional wisdom handed down by generations.
So I want to interrupt you there. It's not, in fact, it's slightly better with organic farmers. Generally, in the villages, no young person wants to take up farming. Farming is not an attractive occupation anymore.
At all. So I think from the consumer's point of view, what we could do to change this scenario is, first and foremost, switch to organic food, because the demand for organic food creates a natural biodiversity. Then second most important thing is, we should be willing to pay a fair price for the effort, for the hard work that the farmer takes to grow this food. So these are the 2 important aspects: start consuming organic and to be ready to pay a fair price for the farmer. So let's begin at that level. So Devi, thank you so much for this enlightening conversation. There are so many aspects that I and my viewers got a clarity of the existing scenario and what we could do to change this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sujata. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
If you found this particular podcast interesting and if you found it really useful and of value, do not forget to share it with your friends and relatives. And of course, subscribe to the channel to stay connected with such valuable videos. If you have missed the podcast on the relationship between organic food and the consumer, which is presented by Ramesh Chandran, her better half and the founder of BioBasics, here is the link.
Hey, have you subscribed to Munch and Mull? Do click on the subscribe button and press the bell icon to receive notifications of my newest videos uploaded every Saturday.